The film opens with a poignant and heartwarming scene of a family in their front yard, where Brian, the father, joyfully teaches his young son Taylor to ride his new bike, while Saya, the mother, captures this precious moment on her camera. This idyllic tableau is abruptly shattered when two rival gangsters speed by, locked in a violent shootout. In an instant, the joyous atmosphere turns to horror as Brian and Saya realize that their beloved son Taylor has been struck by a stray bullet, dying tragically in their arms. As the gangsters continue their reckless exchange of gunfire, one of them attempts to exit his vehicle for a better shot but quickly pays the price when he is hit. Meanwhile, Brian, bloodied and devastated, frantically navigates the chaotic streets of his neighborhood, desperately searching for the fleeing cars responsible for this nightmare. The violence escalates further when one group of gangsters eliminates their rival driver, resulting in a catastrophic crash that reverberates through the community. In a moment of instinctual bravery, Brian rummages through a nearby garbage bin and finds a metal pipe, laying in wait for the approaching car. In retaliation, the gangsters turn their weapons on him, forcing Brian to flee for his life. Just then, he spots a forklift barreling toward them. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, he leaps over it, crashing down onto the gangster's SUV and decapitating one of the assailants in a moment of brutal triumph. However, his victory is tragically short-lived. He is shot in the back by a surviving gangster. Later, Brian is rushed to the hospital, clinging to life as Saya prays fervently for his recovery. Against all odds, the doctors manage to save him, and after a harrowing period of healing, he begins to regain consciousness in his hospital room. Detective Vassal pays him a visit, assessing his condition and leaving behind his card for future communication. A few days later, Brian awakens to find Saya at his side, tears of joy streaming down her face as she embraces him tightly. Brian embarks on the arduous journey of therapy to relearn how to walk. Yet the trauma of the attack has stolen his voice, leaving him in a profound state of torment as he screams silently at his reflection in the mirror, tears cascading down his cheeks. In a desperate attempt to reclaim a fragment of his former self, the doctors provide him with an artificial voice box. However, the weight of his frustration becomes unbearable, culminating in a moment of despair as he shatters it, succumbing to an emotional shutdown that engulfs him. After months of relentless struggle, Brian is finally discharged from the hospital. As Saya drives him home through a city marred by decay and rampant gang violence, they confront a stark contrast to the life they once cherished. They return to the very place where their lives were irrevocably altered, enveloped in a heavy silence that echoes their grief. Brian gazes at the now desolate front yard where he and his son Taylor once played, memories flooding back, moments filled with laughter and joy that now feel like distant echoes. Overwhelmed by grief, he breaks down in tears, staring at the empty space that once resonated with life and love. Inside the house, remnants of Taylor's presence linger hauntingly. His toys are still scattered on the table, and the Christmas tree stands adorned with gifts, one still unopened, a poignant reminder of what could have been. The sight is unbearable, deepening Brian's anguish as he collapses into sorrow, finding solace only in Saya's comforting embrace. In a moment of rage and heartbreak, he catches sight of a news report detailing the brutal slaying of his son. In a fit of fury, he tears it apart, desperate to escape the relentless pain that consumes him. Seeking refuge in the kitchen, he grabs a bottle of vodka, silently pleading for Saya's help with his eyes. Yet she can only watch helplessly as tears stream down her face, unsure of how to reach him in his darkest hour. The next morning, as Saya prepares for work, it becomes painfully clear that Brian found no solace in sleep. She discovers him alone in the basement, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Sending him a text asking if he has seen her keys, she receives no response. He is lost in a haze of memories of Taylor. Overcome by nostalgia and sorrow, Brian makes his way to his son's untouched room, sitting on the bed where they once shared countless cherished moments together. Tears cascade down his cheeks as he lies down, aching for the warmth of his son's presence. Finally, Fueled by a desperate need to confront his anguish rather than be consumed by it, Brian hastily makes his way to the basement. With fierce determination, he clears away the vodka bottles that have come to symbolize his despair, reaching for his tools instead, ready to transform his grief into action. When Saya returns home, she pauses in her car, gathering her thoughts before stepping inside. Noticing Brian's absence, she sends him a text, but when he fails to respond, a wave of unease washes over her. Meanwhile, Brian stumbles upon Detective Vassal's business card and makes the decision to visit the police station. As he waits in Vassal's office, his eyes drift to the police notice board plastered with photographs of local gangsters wanted for various crimes. He begins snapping pictures of the faces displayed, and suddenly, his heart races as he recognizes Playa, the very gangster who shot him. When Detective Vassal finally returns, Brian is already on his way out, ignited by a newfound sense of purpose. Back at home, he pins the photographs of the gangsters to his wall, meticulously orchestrating his own investigation. With chilling resolve, he marks December 24th on his calendar as the day he will exact his revenge. Immersing himself in grueling workouts while watching instructional videos on effective knife techniques, he sharpens both his physical abilities and his resolve. Yet, as he plunges deeper into his quest for vengeance, the chasm between him and Saya widens, leaving her spirit fractured. Months slip by as Brian acquires a used car, exhilarated by the strides he's making toward his goal. Meanwhile, Saya grapples with mounting bills and often hears him laboring late into the night, modifying his vehicle, a constant reminder of their growing distance that weighs heavily on her heart. Determined to further arm himself, Brian enrolls in firearms training, honing his aim with relentless focus. He builds an arsenal of weapons and begins listening to police radios, deepening his commitment to this dark mission. One night, feeling the crushing weight of isolation, he attempts to reach out to Saya, only to learn that she has decided to move in with her mother, leaving him behind. In a fit of frustration and desperation, he unleashes his pent-up anger on a training dummy, a futile expression of the turmoil raging within him. Afterward, he takes his car for a drive, honing his skills with an intensity that stems from a deep-seated desperation. By October, Brian has begun to stake out the gangsters' known hideouts, capturing images of their illicit activities with a relentless focus. One tense moment stands out. He watches Playa reveling in a carefree moment, only to see a man leaving in a car, prompting him to snap a photo of the license plate with grim determination. Brian has transformed into a muscular, athletic figure and a highly skilled driver. Adept at maneuvering his vehicle with remarkable precision. At long range, he no longer struggles to hit his target with rapid succession. One day, while out, he encounters a little boy who bears an uncanny resemblance to Taylor. Overwhelmed by emotion, he instinctively hugs the child, only to realize with a pang of sadness that this boy is not his own. As he returns to his car, he spots Playa surrounded by children, distributing cash, which ignites a surge of fury within him. He instinctively reaches for his knife but hesitates, the presence of innocent lives around him pulling him back from the brink. In a moment of misfortune, Brian accidentally collides with a gangster who shoves him to the ground. That night, he steels himself for what lies ahead. On December 23rd, he tracks down the home of one of the gangsters and stealthily breaks in. Brian swiftly knocks him down and secures him, hogtying him in the roof of his garage while donning a welding mask for anonymity. Brian cuts the gangster free and demands information about the gang, presenting him with papers and a pen. On December 24th, Brian prepares for the day ahead, strapping on body armor and readying his firearms, fully aware that this is the moment he has been waiting for. Before departing, he carefully pens a heartfelt note and takes a lingering glance at Taylor's room, absorbing every cherished detail as he grapples with the haunting possibility of never returning. He then makes his way to Saya's temporary home, where he finds her deeply engrossed in drawing a picture of Taylor, a poignant testament to her grief and yearning for reconciliation. Later, he visits Taylor's grave, cradling a gift meant to honor what would have been his birthday. Alone at the gravesite, he sits in silence, allowing his tears to flow freely for an extended period before finally unveiling the gift intended for Taylor. That night, Detective Vassell is abruptly pulled from his thoughts by a sound at his door. With caution, he retrieves his firearm and opens the door, only to be met with the unsettling sight of a bound and gagged gangster alongside a chilling note. Soon after, law enforcement arrives to investigate, uncovering Brian's ominous message, a declaration that he will take matters into his own hands, issues Vassell should have addressed himself. Accompanying the note is a flash drive filled with meticulously gathered evidence and comprehensive details about the gang's operations over the past months. As the night deepens, Brian finds himself behind the wheel when a police report crackles through the radio, detailing gang activity. Instinctively drawn toward the chaos, he arrives just in time to witness two gangsters ruthlessly assaulting and robbing a couple. Overwhelmed by the weight of taking a life for the first time, Brian is engulfed by nausea. Yet, resolute in his mission to send a clear message, he drives to the gang's compound and hurls a wrapped package over the wall. Moments later, one of Playa's men delivers it to their leader, revealing it to be the severed fingers of the men Brian has just slain. The city erupts into chaos as another brutal gang shootout ensues, with multiple officers caught in the crossfire. As Brian arrives on the scene, his heart sinks as he witnesses a female officer being shot. Without a moment's pause, he plunges into the chaos, targeting gangsters with a fierce and unwavering resolve, while one of them live streams the unfolding turmoil. In a surge of vengeance, he slams his car into the man, sending him sprawling before seizing his phone. As he views the live stream, he takes aim and fires, ensuring that Playa receives his chilling message loud and clear. Realizing that Brian is orchestrating this rebellion, Playa swiftly mobilizes his gangsters, issuing a frantic order to hunt him down. As they mercilessly attack a rival, their attention shifts to an approaching vehicle. It's Brian. Their eyes lock, his face a mask of grim determination as he drives past, leaving the chaos in his wake. He pulls over on an old bridge and retrieves a cherished music toy that once belonged to Taylor. With renewed resolve coursing through him, Brian sets off again, but the gangsters quickly regroup and pursue him through the city streets. In a masterful maneuver, he executes a 180-degree turn, confronting them head-on before expertly drifting to fire at one of the assailants. He speeds away, but they are relentless, hot on his heels. A biker joins the fray, unleashing a torrent of bullets that forces Brian to accelerate even more. Suddenly, he finds himself cornered in a roadblock, wedged between two trucks as gangsters open fire. With quick thinking and instinct, he takes down one assailant before executing a pit maneuver on the front truck, resulting in a catastrophic collision that sends debris flying. The biker remains undeterred, continuing to fire shots at Brian's battered car. As the biker closes in, Brian seizes the moment to grab his gun, sending the biker crashing to the ground before driving him headfirst into a wall. Finally taking a moment to catch his breath, Detective Vassal sits in his car, meticulously reviewing the evidence Brian had entrusted to him, a testament to the gravity of their fight against the darkness enveloping their city. Driven by an unwavering resolve to confront the gang, he makes his way toward their stronghold. Meanwhile, Playa, seething with fury over the attack on his men, dispatches an urgent message summoning all his goons back to his lair. As Brian approaches the gang's headquarters, the haunting melody of Taylor's Toy plays softly, evoking a flood of bittersweet memories from happier times. With a steely focus, he ensures that all his weapons are primed and ready, checking the phone he seized from the live streamer to find Playa's message rallying his crew. Recognizing a pivotal moment in this deadly game, Brian gears up and mounts his motorcycle, resolute in his mission to finish what the gangsters had started. While Playa revels in the mayhem, oblivious to the tragedy unfolding around him as he enjoys the company of his female accomplice. As Brian ascends the building, the cacophony of shouting men fills the air. He sets an explosive trap in the main hallway, only to be ambushed by a formidable gangster named Ruiz. At that critical moment, Detective Vassal stealthily infiltrates the building, stepping over the lifeless bodies scattered across the floor. In the midst of a fierce confrontation, Brian and Ruiz scramble for their firearms. Meanwhile, Vassal finds himself under siege yet displays remarkable skill and composure as he methodically dispatches each assailant with precision, carving a path through the chaos toward his own mission. Later, Brian and Vassal find themselves in a tense standoff, guns drawn, as an oppressive silence envelops them. In a pivotal moment, Vassal deliberately lowers his pistol, a powerful gesture that signifies his loyalty to Brian. However, their fragile alliance is shattered when Playa's accomplice suddenly opens fire, forcing them to seek cover. In the ensuing chaos, she reloads just in time to strike Brian, followed by a bullet that grazes Vassal's arm. Seizing the opportunity amid the turmoil, Brian crawls toward her and presses his gun to her head, demanding she drop her weapon. Despite the dire circumstances, his sense of honor prevents him from taking a woman's life. In a shocking turn, she retaliates by pulling her own pistol and firing twice at him before shifting her aim to Vassal, hitting him squarely in the chest. Driven by desperation, Brian responds with lethal accuracy, shooting her down. As both men struggle to recover from their wounds, Brian retrieves his pistol and steels himself to confront Playa. The two adversaries finally meet in a fierce exchange of gunfire. Brian absorbs several shots to his vest and collapses to the ground. Just as Playa prepares to deliver the final blow, Vassal intervenes, shooting Playa in the back and providing Brian with the opening he desperately needs to tackle him. In a brutal struggle, Brian unleashes a flurry of punches on Playa's face before choking the life out of him, their eyes locked in a fierce battle of wills. As Playa gasps for breath, Brian envisions a smiling Taylor, flooded with memories of joy that contrast sharply with the violence surrounding him. Meanwhile, Vassal drags himself toward Brian, who is lost in visions of Taylor's brief life and the future that was unjustly taken from them. The scene shifts to Saya at Taylor's grave, where Brian's cherished toy, a train, circles the headstone. In anguish, she reads a heartfelt note from Brian before gently placing it at the grave, a poignant tribute to the love and loss they both endure. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.